pick by Gamsu. His Jarvan games have been huge, but the Hecarim game was even bigger. It was just the rest of the team kind of falling by the wayside, and I want to see if they adjust here, try and put a higher priority on the Sivir, or if they switch around some of their bans themselves. I think Fusion sticks with Ken and Annie Ziggs. I think Team Dignitas changes something.
We'll see what they end up changing here. I know you're saying Sivir's a big deal. We've also seen the early laning phase be a big deal as well. Huhi still is not going to get LeBlanc all game. There's the Annie and the Kennen. No surprise there. Final ban is Ziggs, so Jack, good call on that one. The Rumble is added for Dignitas. They dropped the Gragas ban that I didn't think was even important in the first place.
Yep.
Chunky Fresh not allowed to carry from the top lane.
Strange prioritization on Gragas in this series. Now the question will be, was that Gragas ban worthwhile? It's a trade for Gragas versus Sejuani, which therefore does that put Sivir as the highest priority for first pick.
True.
By switching that last ban, they make Team Fusion react.
I think you're right that Sivir's a really good choice here in that one gets Sedge, one gets Gragas, life moves on, and Fusion's happy. Now, interestingly, that Gragas ban, by the way, is a bit of a Chunky Fresh ban, by the way. Actually, he was playing it in the top lane. So, as far as priority on those champions, it was actually Chunky Fresh with AP Gragas that did do pretty well for the team overall. It was in his final regular season game against TSM Darkness. Sejuani, though, still looks like the priority, but that gives, as you're saying, the importance here, Gragas and Sivir over to Dignitas.
Interesting thing is Zingi's Gragas wasn't very good.
That's true.
In the first game.
That's true.
But something is a high priority for them. Another thing is they were against Team Dignitas was running a triple melee team last game, which was punished by the Rumble and by the Janna. Not to mention the move speed from Sivir.
And Dig looks like they're just going to rip the comp right out of Fusion's hands. So KiwiKid playing a disengaged support, a different look for him. Will be interesting to see how well he does on this Janna here. Sivir, of course, is picked up by Core JJ. Dignitas can pick and choose their team fights, but I say it every time, Janna not great against Sejuani because you can't stop a bullet into the face.
Nope. Definitely can't. Different style for KiwiKid for sure.
Mm-hmm.
One Kennen game, 2 Alistair games, and now Janna. So playstyle adjustment is needed. You can still do a lot of roaming around, though, early on in the game. If we actually see a lane swap.
That's true.
Now the Hecarim becomes a priority. They're trading priority picks as this series progresses. They don't want Gamsu to get the Hecarim again.
Yeah, and it's funny to see Hecarim go from like a mandatory ban to being like first pick worthy to being like grabbed second round blue side because these teams keep evolving and adapting to what is actually important in this series. It does give Chunky Fresh a bit more of a damage carry type champion, but we've still not really seen him come out of lane ahead, so I'm not sure how good Hecarim's going to be for him. And it's going to be, wow, Jarvan grabbed again to battle against this, so Gamsu, if he doesn't get Hecarim, just picks Jarvan over and over again, and we will see another Gragas for Zingi.
Makes sense that they want to save their last pick for Shifter as well. I have liked the Jarvan against the Sion matchup.
Yeah.
I don't know how it will fail against this Hecarim matchup. Fare against this Hecarim matchup.
It is a flashless champion, so unless he burns the ult or outplays with E, he can't get out of the Cataclysm, so maybe some similar situations here. We'll have to see. You're right, it doesn't stop the ult like it does with Sion, so 20 seconds to go. Lulu is locked in one more time for Huhi. Plenty of engage power for Fusion. I want to see like a Jinx or a Cog here. I want to see a lot of damage come out because there's none right now for
Nien
Fusion.
was cleaning his glasses. He hovers Ash and he's like, wait a minute, was that?
Yeah.
Lucian? Was that Jinx? Oh,
yeah,
no.
it is.
Okay, now he's on the right champion.
All right, Jinx Morgana into Sivir, Janet in the bot lane. Should be decent overall, but room for outplay for Dignitas here easily. Jinx also low escape, is facing a lot of diving potential, of course. A Sivired up Gragas Jarvan can make every AD carry very sad. Fusion playing around the end very heavily. This is a do or die game. Game 4, they're down still 2-1. If they want their LCS hopes alive, they better win this one. Team Dignitas hoping to close out the series. What is their final pick going to be? Ahri did not go great. They know they're facing Lulu mid.
AP Kog'Maw would be nice. Caston is also a nice shifter assassination threat.
And it is.
Woo!
All right, Dignitas very scrappy in this team comp. They can pick fights all day, every day. That's going to be the case here for these guys. Team Fusion playing around the Jinx, and they've got some pretty good engage themselves.
Yeah, so Fusion a little bit low on magic damage, all things considered. Heavily physical damage team, but it's another one around Nien's Jinx. They really prioritize him as a carry, He did well in lane last time. We'll see if he can do it again to transition, because if he cannot, this is a Team Dignitas team that has the ability to dive on and finish, something they kind of missed a little bit in the last game. Being able to find the right targets for them, because Equalizer and the Jana were pushing him back. They've controlled both of those things this game, so I like this draft by Team Dignitas much more than their Game 3 draft.
I agree. Dig's lineup looks really scary. Shifter most recently uncasted and went like 13-2-7 about a month ago in the LCS, so scary for him. Also, you mentioned a lack of magic damage for Fusion. Well, they are running a magic damage jungler, magic damage mid, magic damage support. They're not high damage champions, but also they're running TP Smite Hecarim. So Cinder Hulk Hecarim is going to be, again, just some more slow burn magic damage. That there's all these ancillary magic damage threats that eventually adds up and becomes a magic damage profile for Team Fusion. Could be interesting to watch how those fights pan out.
Absolutely.
Either way, the teams are loading up onto the Rift for Game 4, so keep updating your series predictions. Tweet either hashtag FSN win or hashtag DIG win to @LOL Esports. Once again, Fusion need to win 2 in a row now to join the North American LCS 2015 Summer Split. Dignitas, 2 chances to close out the series and win that final game. Here we go. 4th game. Best of 5.
Yeah, and 0 for 3 on lane swaps so far.
True.
Fusion has yet to guess properly or get the perfect ward control down in order to guarantee a lane swap. But last game, when they had a chance to swap back for a minor disadvantage, they decided to stay. So they chanced into a 2v2.
Nintendo gets body slammed and the trinket misses.
E on Gragas.
That's greedy. There's really no kill pressure from the rest of the Dignitas. That's a start, I guess.
30 seconds.
Yeah, meanwhile, because they 5-man invaded, look at the cavalry of Fusion just getting deep ward after deep ward. If there was ever a start where Fusion would want to be able to scout a lane swap, how about getting deep wards in both lanes? The dream scenario for ward scouting. And they get out with it, too.
Nice. It is worth pointing out, Ziggy started body slam well before he ever got into the into that river. So we basically learned it off the fountain.
I have seen Gragas' start the game with body slam. The barrel is a little bit more damage when you're starting, but body slam is not an absolutely terrible choice. He's still going to get his W second, and then probably barrel third in his skill order.
Yeah, you're right in terms of damage output here. Definitely is higher for the barrel. I just wanted to look at the numbers to be sure. I guess the AD ratio is gone from body slam. So, yeah, there's really no way it kind of keeps up here in this one.
Yep.
Okay, so Fusion, what are their lanes? It looks like they're going to send Jinx and Morgana to the bottom lane very late on in this one. Looks like they do spot the lanes. Luluver's casted in at level 1. Jinx goes back up to the top side. Looks like finally Fusion do get the 2v2, sorry, the 2v1 that they were seeking here. And they will match up against a very late showing Gamsu. Meanwhile, Chunky Fresh is just jungling, so Fusion really not losing much golden XP. Looks like a very well-played mind game. Fusion finally get the lanes they wanted. Chunky Fresh clears a camp for just Gamsu walking across the map.
Yeah, and Azingi, not the greatest jungle start. Honestly, he does 2 camps, and now he's recalling. I'm curious what he's planning, because he cannot upgrade his jungle item. He comes back with 2 wards early on in the game. They are swapping, though, so they're trying to pull some type of maneuver with these wards in the lane swap game. I'm a little bit confused. You don't see a normal strategy of, all right, 2 camps and shop for wards, man.
Yeah, definitely very interesting here. An early pink ward by Chunky Fresh in his own tri-brush. He is 1v1ing with Sivir here on Hecarim. That is an interesting matchup. I think it's going to take some time for Chunky Fresh to be useful here. Getting kited is scary. Nice bind on the Kiwi Kid, and Trance and Nian feel pretty good. Late chompers, though. Means no kill pressure.
Yeah, the support has been able to swap up for Team Dignitas here, so Kiwi Kid can allow Gamsu to farm a little bit. And the Hecarim vs. Sivir matchup will be interesting for a long lane. CoreJJ won't want to shove that out too heavily, otherwise he'd be vulnerable to some ganks. He has shoved, but he has a ward in the river.
Looks like Chunky with the Cloth Armor start is going to survive just enough. Nice choppers there, bit of damage. But the Cloth Armor start for Chunky, with all the potions he's got, he's really able to farm just fine. He's down 3 minions in this one-on-one. Meanwhile, a sizable 15 minion lead for Nian over Gamsu. So lane assignment's definitely working very well for the Fusion squad.
Definitely. I mean, they got the full choice of where to go with the lane swap, not to mention Zingy had that weird jungle start. Team Dignitas going for that early invade is really backfiring for them here. Jeez. Fusion getting a lane swap, which is what they have had the most comfort doing during Challenger, is this lane swap, and it's paying off for them early on.
Paying off a 300 gold lead right here just from the laning phase. Impressive stuff so far. Track the junglers because they're always fun, and it's equal so far. All right, so same stuff done for both these tank junglers. We are once again seeing tank versus tank in this jungle matchup, and so far so good, I guess. Question is, where does the playmaking come in? Nintendo, you look for the mid lane. Of course, it is a low escape mid laner. He's actually there before a Zingy. And Huhi is already here. Body slams in, but is it enough damage out? But maybe, yes. The shield comes in off the ignite. Huhi forced a flash away, but Shifter a flash auto would kill him. First blood comes in for Cassidy. Now Zingy's got to be careful. He's got no flash. TP in for Chunky Fresh means they will trade that one back. Shifter is flashless. He is level 5, and he's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, Chunky Fresh also got the blue buff off of that kill on Zingy, so first blood onto Cassidy, but he's definitely going to be given 2 kills back.
And if they can give it to Hecarim, he's going to be crushing this one-on-one matchup. It looks like that's going to be the case, actually. Chunky Fresh takes him down. A 2-0 Hecarim is still outlaning Jarvan
yeah.
on the opposite side of the map. Good luck with this fight.
So even though Nintendo ends up having his mid laner die on him, his positioning in that gank, and ultimately the teleport that was able to come in from Chunky Fresh because there was no threat to interrupt that teleport was huge. If Gamsu wanted to teleport very easily, a Dark Binding or Flame Choppers would have stopped him from doing so. So specifically the lane matchups that had happened off the early game is what ended up turning that in Fusion's favor.
And really impressive stuff overall. Now notifying, or responding to the fact that Chunky Fresh would have been able to buy some new items. It's an early forced recall by CoreJJ, boots and a pickaxe. I don't know if they're going to win this fight. Nintendo's level 5. Zones out Gobs for bed. Actually, wow, they do force the flash away from Nintendo. Yeah,
there was no way of Jinx and Morgana coming around from the other side to support that, not to mention the big minion wave they didn't want to forfeit. Much safer to just flash over the wall for Nintendo.
Right.
We do have to point out the Chunky Fresh, different Hecarim strategy than Gamsu. Smite, teleport, early Cinder Hulk on its way.
Gamsu goes in. Black Shield pop for not much. Now Nian's got to be a bit careful. Knockup is going to land at a Jinx, a great binding, but Zingy still shows up. A great Flame Chopper will hit 2 of these guys. And slowly but surely, looks like Fusion are buying time as Zingy's going to be 1 or 2 hits from dead, but be careful, because in comes the Ignite. In comes Huhi, though, to turn it around. A great point-blank bind for Trance, and Gamsu's got nowhere to go. Kill is going to get taken by Nian. Zingy still in the wings, but Kiwikid's got to be real careful. One more bind, needs the kill. Good flash.
Shifter's trying to come in from behind, but he doesn't see a window to do anything. Late on the roam from the caster, and another kill for Fusion, and another early start with a lead.
Wow, Fusion up 1,200 gold at 7.5 minutes. What a miraculous start. Chunky Fresh level 6 versus 6 is going on to CoreJJ, but he's down boots. No, sorry, tied on boots, but just can't keep the chase going. Trade of trinkets. And just Ricochet harass.
Oh, man. Honestly, not great lane matchups for Team Dignitas. Not great value.
Zingy?
Out of this Gragas jungle. His smite's going to be coming up in a second, so he's just waiting with the heal.
Blasting Smite, of course, plenty of heal there as well. That's his camp. Okay.
Yeah. So, Fusion's perspective. Good start. They got a kill onto their carry that they need to carry with. They have an early start on their double Cinder Hulk, which is their main way of trying to get some damage differentiation on top of their Lulu that will need to do so. And those are the things that they're going to be trying to carry with. The carries on Dignitas' side. CoreJJ is farming freely because he is just up against a Hecarim. And Shifter did get first blood, so he's going to be well on his way to Rod of Ages. That 1,000 gold lead early can very easily be made up for if Shifter can actually beat Huhi to a roam and make some plays happen on Cassidy.
Yeah. And even though you're seeing these scorelines like this, Huhi is behind Shifter in gold. So you mentioned earlier Rod of Ages, beating him to the roam. Gold lead for this Dignitas mid lane are definitely something worth keeping in mind in this one. Still that 1,000 gold overall, though, of course, with this Jinx able to back for the BF sword on a better timing. Wasn't pushed around too badly. And with boots will feel good. CoreJJ is farming up on this Avarice blade though, so gold might trickle back a little bit, but in terms of actual 2-on-2 power, will look good for Fusion.
So Fusion swaps into the 2v2.
BF sword. You expect them to win the fight.
Yeah. They're against, though, a level disadvantage because CoreJJ's been in that lane for a while. I don't like the swap back.
Trans Black Shields in the air, but in comes Gragas! Goodbye. Man, nice kill pickup right there. Dignitas getting their way back in. Good pressure by a Zingy.
Yeah, he snuck in behind him real good there. Getting Sightstone wards down on 2 crucial points. A non-conventional Gragas build by many different standards. First off, he doesn't finish his Cinderhulk first. He rushes Sightstone. And what was actually first off is his E.
Yeah.
Body slam early in the jungle, which punished him early. He's heavily into warding this game and all about the utility. He's not a very tanky Gragas as of yet.
No, he's not, but so far the kills have been coming through. He's been part of both of Team Dignitas' kills so far in this game, while the blue is taken over by Shifter, who he and Nintendo push out mid. They get that turret down to 1/3 health. So turret pressure definitely a thing that can exist here. Unfortunately, a possible freeze here for the Dignitas dual lane means it's a bad spot for Nien to be in. He's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, they had such nice lanes without swapping back. We already knew that the Jarvan was in trouble against the Jinx. Maybe they were worried about the level 6 power spike of Jarvan, and maybe they'd have kill pressure immediately on them versus Morg. But Chunky Fresh was doing fine against Sivir. He had huge farm and kills, plus an easy TP pressure.
Yeah.
Because there's no way Sivir's preventing him from teleporting.
You're right.
Now they're forfeiting all these things. The only thing they gain is a little bit more presence around Dragon. But first Dragon is not that important.
Well, you're absolutely
and it cost
right.
him a kill.
You're absolutely right. It's weird because, like, in my head, I'm hearing all the things you're saying, and you're right, but it's like Chunky Fresh is ahead of Gamsu. Nien is ahead of CoreJJ. These lanes should be fine. He could have 2 winning lanes instead of 1. And it does get turned around by a great gank by a Zingy. Wave clear still happening in the mid lane. Looks like Dignitas lose a bit more on that turret, but it's still staying alive. CoreJJ soloing the bot lane. Nien comes back just in time to clear the wave away. But you're seeing a slight minion lead now for this Sivir. He broke the freeze because of the mid lane push. He lets Nien get back into some farm here. BF pickaxe, a lot of damage items for Nien. Of course, he wasn't the casualty, so you know this Jinx is very explosive.
Yeah, I mean, now that he's gone back and got the pickaxe as well, and the fact that CoreJJ has gone Avarice and is waiting for that BF sword power spike, this would be a moment for Nien to try and pick up some power, especially since he just equalized the levels. CoreJJ not quite level 9 yet.
Yeah, he's a wave away from that. And he's 2 waves away from enough money for a BF sword, so you know, maybe a small window for Fusion to really do much here. You're seeing 200 gold to go. That's pretty much this scan wave if he gets everything out of it. Nintendo look at a slink around the back. There is a ward in the river, so he's going for the lane gank maybe. But he just can't find it. Dignitas playing very far back, intelligently so.
This isn't the aggressive CoreJJ lane that we've seen in previous games. He knows he's in a bit of a power trough right now, and he needs to get that power spike back, which he will be able to do as soon as he gets that BF sword.
There's the ward sweep, who he's still harassing a Zingy, who is without many tank stats right now. Mid lane turret still slowly taking damage, but Kassadin has backed for this Rod of Ages. 3-man bot lane, they know Gragas is mid. Maybe a TP could show up, maybe Kassadin shows up, but Fusion pressing hard for this bot lane turret. The wave clear is just too good from Sivir Janna, though.
Yeah, there's no way. Fusion's making much happen there.
They can't kill the turret.
Maybe they were just trying to hope CoreJJ misses some CS, but that's the biggest hope. Nintendo's spending a huge amount of time down here for a very limited potential gain.
And he really taking a ton of damage as well. The Atheans just getting broken through by Shifter. This Kassadin is starting to look real good in the mid lane. Only denied a little bit of CS, still doing fine gold-wise. Chunky Fresh not even building out the top lane. So yeah, these matchups that I thought like, oh, they're all going to win. It's going to be great. But Cinderhulk challenging Smite, Hecarim is not bullying out this Jarvan, who's sitting on only a Brutalizer, yet Gamsu's fine.
Yeah. Fusion allowing Team Dignitas back into this game for sure. Shifter now with Rod of Ages completed. Strong bully potential. Zingy soon to be getting a Cinderhulk on a vision control centric Gragas that he's been playing thus far. And Nintendo spends a lot of time in that bottom lane.
Yeah. What's the lane that Fusion wants? They want to win this duo lane. They've got Jinx, who's so explosive, so snowbally, and letting her go knock down turrets, right? She bought a bunch of attack damage. I wouldn't be surprised if she went for Zergreaves next, just to be a better turret killer instead of finishing IE, which he could right now.
Depends where their priorities lie. Fusion can gain a lot of advantages if they get the map control, therefore they can transition that to Dragons, and it can allow Hecarim to run free a little bit with those upgraded Home Guard boots. But instead of pushing the turrets, they instead prioritize Dragon right away, knowing that Core JJ had gone back to shot.
Well, very, very smart timing, and Team Fusion will be knocking down this Dragon. Looks like uncontested. Azingi getting challenged by Chunky Fresh on the other side of the map. They know there's no one around here, and with Gragas topside, actually there's some time to pressure mid as well. Chunky Fresh comes right back down. He rejoins the team.
Nice rotation.
Bot lane left open, but that's going to be outer turret going down, and maybe they can push the next wave in as well.
Really nice rotation right there. They had done a good amount of chunking on that turret already when Shifter had gotten blue buff about 7 minutes ago, and now they're going to continue this pressure because Core JJ is off pushing bottom. This one not as successful.
Looks like Core JJ can knock this turret down just barely. Depends how afraid he is of getting roamed on. If he stays for the turret, he's likely to die.
Yep. He's staying for the turret, Freak.
All right. This is what I do in solo queue. I just say worth it afterwards. Core JJ pops the ulti. What can he spell shield? He's got a turret, but it's not going to be very healthy. No man on Core JJ either. He's got nowhere to go on this one, and bot lane turret will fall afterwards. The question is, what else?
Well, here's the nice thing, too. Team Dignitas can give this kill to Nien.
Yes, they do.
Which, now 2-0 on Jinx, with the Lulu backing him up, could become a real threat in the late game. Jarvan needs to be able to one-shot, otherwise he's done for. Kassadin, a little bit more sustained threat, but is within range to be counter-attacked when he Rift walks in. These kills onto Nien are the best person to be getting.
And that's going to be the outer turret going down. Nien, we'll see if Trance gives him solo gold. Greedy Trance steals 75 gold from his AD carry, but top lane was held. Nintendo ran top lane in time to clear the wave. It's still a 3v1 up here, though, and looks like Chunky Fresh making it a 2v3. Still not enough to keep this turret from getting pressure. Dignitas will knock this down. Gamsu is going to get solo gold. 275 for him. Basically a kill for himself. And we're seeing the scoreline stay at 2 turrets to 2. Kills very equal. Only, you know, 1,500 gold lead. Not too bad.
Tons of turret trading we just saw, but generally nice rotations from Fusion.
Blue buff steals well off the spot lane pressure. Fusion do seem to own more of the map, and I think they can easily run back and forth between mid and bot lane tier 2s here. Kassadin cannot one-shot the back line yet. Nintendo takes another camp away. Chunky Fresh waiting. There's some pressure top lane. Yeah, you can see Gamsu is afraid of this Hecarim, but we're not seeing it manifest in minion leads or really in turret pressure either.
Yeah, well, Gamsu is basically just getting CS at his turret for the most part.
Actually, you can't kill turrets as Cinderhulk either because you pull aggro, so Gamsu just like walks at you and says, yeah, give me this. And so you're right, we've been unable to see much at all. Chunky Fresh not bullying much. Gamsu, great job last hitting under turret, keeping up and farm this way. Team roams up, but it's in the face of a ward. And here they go. They're going to force Kiwi Kid out, and now they're going to force Gamsu out as well. Pops the ulti, goes for the EQ out. Bola lands on Janna, but the really great Cataclysm stops anything else from happening.
I'm not sure what they were hoping to accomplish with that Bola. Maybe he was hoping to catch Jarvan, and he just caught Janna by mistake, because no one was in position to follow up that Bola. Even though they still get another turret, and now they can continue some map pressure.
He goes to the bot lane in time. Yeah, very smart choice. Core JJ pushed the wave in, but doesn't get any more. He is afraid of Hecarim, and rightly so. Ton of armor on this almost frozen art Hecarim here. Who he holds the mid lane. We'll see if they rotate anything more. Of course, teleport is still up for Chunky Fresh, so he's on the correct side of the map to make these kinds of plays. Core JJ walked all the way across the map just to show up top lane and get nothing for it. I guess mid lane, he's going to let Kassadin run around.
Yeah, I wonder which Kassadin build Shifter is going to go with. We've seen 3 different Kassadin builds that have cropped up when we've seen Kassadin. Rodovade is always first. Then you see a Zhonya's second, or an Athene second, or a Luden's Echo second. All of them have their different strengths and weaknesses. I think the Athene's is good for snowballing team fights, because you get the resetting mana for the Riftwalk after Riftwalk.
Yep.
Zhonya's is more defensive, Luden's is more offensive. Shifter, because he didn't go for an early Seekers, may end up going for the Luden's Echo. We'll yet to see, though, because Team Dignitas needs to do something here. Maybe a more offensive build since they are behind. He needs that to be able to blow through Nien.
Yeah, very true. And right now, a 2,000 gold deficit is moderate, but acceptable right now for Dignitas. They still just want time for this Kassadin to scale up. Eventually, Lulu will kind of fall off in power. Of course, she can go Luden's herself and continue her damage dominance. She's got one last point to put in an offensive skill, and then skill damage goes down. 45 seconds on Baron, 110 on Dragon so far. Fusion have held control of that, and you think with this gold lead they would continue to hold control here. Now the first Dragon went down pretty late into the game, so Dragon 5 comes in like 38 minutes in, which is not really like early enough to stop Caston from winning you a team fight. So I'm not sure that can just be like the Fusion win condition. I think they do need to do a bit more off of how scary I feel like Dig can be later on in this game.
Whoa, that's a nice bola.
Kiwi Kid can't get caught. He has Flash, though, doesn't get to use it. Nien gets the kill somehow. Fusion keeps giving kills over to Nien Tanso, and this Jinx is about to go way too big to stop.
That was rather convenient for Fusion to find that kill on the squishy guy and to get the kill Nien with the super mega death rocket right before Dragon is going to respawn. I don't know if Team Dignitas could realistically fight this Dragon anyway, especially with the full tank build coming through on Chunky Fresh. And no one to really deal damage to them during the fight. Great catch, though, there by Nintendo.
They Flash bind from Trance to prevent Flash. That was actually really big. Trance made a big play on the second half of that one that we didn't get to see because we saw Nien through the rocket out. So yeah, great contributions now by these teams. Mid lane gets cleared first, then Fusion goes to Dragon. Nintendo's already started it. Not going to be a problem here for Fusion to take this one down. Dragon number 2 going to drop at 20-40 in this game, which again means 39 minutes for Dragon 5. That's a long way away if that was going to be the way Fusion wins this game. They sit 3,000 up right here. And so far, great buff controls. Who he gets his second blue in a row. The last one was his enemy's blue buff, by the way. So he's going to be happy. Sorkshoes for Who he makes me think he might actually go for the Ludens after all. It's a bit more damage focused that way.
True. Sometimes you'd see more of a top lane Lulu, you might see cooldown boots, but mid lane Lulu typically Sorcerer's Shoes, especially because there's going to be very little magic resist on Team Dignitas, so he wants to get the flat magic penetration right away. Burn through that.
I'm actually curious to see the damage stat at the end of the game for how much magic damage Fusion really does do. Because none of them are individually big contributors, but everyone except Nien is actually primarily magic damage dealer. Being that a Cinderhulk. Well, maybe not even with Cinderhulk, but there's some amount coming in here either way. Shields coming through. Blue buff steal once again attempted by Fusion here. They took the last one. Look to make it one more. Gragas Barrel does not do very much. It re-engages Pop Shield. He lands on a shifter. There's the knock-him from Lulu. It's going to be blue up taken away, but a Zingy might have to just walk out of this one. Chunky Fresh goes in, nearly takes down Shifter, but it's going to be the kill on Agamsu, and oh man, both top and his fall in this fight.
Yeah, both guys just decided to dive, and they were successfully peeled because there was a lot of protection on both sides. The big thing, though, is Fusion still has Nien, and they still have the shields to push.
They are going to knock down bot lane tier 2 here. 4 turrets to 2 in this one, a 4,000 gold lead as a result. They can rotate back to the mid lane as well. 13 seconds on Gamsu. The rest of the Dignitas have healed up enough to be useful, but Fusion may press their luck and go for more, and they do not.
Growing a larger and larger lead. 2 dragons, 4,000 gold, 3 kills. Creeping up their item advantage, and I mean, this fight again, Nintendo has been on point with his Glacial Prisons this game. He catches 2 right there, but the big thing is they stopped Shifter from dive buddying with Gamsu. Gamsu also awful right there. He missed his EQ and then immediately died.
It's a squishy Jarvan, gets hexed by Lulu, just dies as a squishy squirrel.
Yeah, they need multiple people going in there.
Yeah, they do.
And even if they do, having the Lulu there, as long as he's saving his Polymorph for the Jarvan, is going to allow Nien enough time to kill him.
Absolutely true. Looks like it is, by the way, Zhonya's for Shifter here, so a more defensive build, even though you mentioned backline diving being important. Shifter not built to do so very easily. I wonder if defense is going to be enough for Dignitas. I mean, the damage is lower. He can get back there and survive. Yeah. But missing out on the damage proc from Ludens may be
changes his style.
It does, it does.
It gives him a little bit more freedom to shift into a lot of people.
True.
Zhonya's, and then be able to maybe shift out a little bit later. It's the old classic Captain
That's true.
build.
That's
Not one
true.
of these newfangled Captain builds all the kids are doing these days. Shifter's old school.
Darn right he is. Zingy going to take Scuttler away pretty cleanly. Chunky Fresh, just kidding. Not going to let him do that. So Chunky Fresh takes it cleanly. Nian takes it cleanly. Whatever. Third tries the charm.
More gold on the AD carry. Let's do it.
So a 1,100 gold lead for Chunky Fresh. He's actually still down teleport against Gamsu for 2.5 minutes. But since the one-on-one is so easy for Hecarim with this gold lead, you just kind of pressure Gamsu into the turret, and Jarvan just takes a... If he ever TPs out, like, loses a turret for it. So Chunky Fresh right now is going to stay with the team. Bot lane doesn't have an easy turret to kill, so...
They're hoping to get a catch here in the mid lane.
Ooh, nice try on the bind. Nothing picked up just yet.
Thinking about this series as a whole, as they're posturing around the Baron here, for Fusion, this is just a better version of their team composition from Game 2. When Sivir needed to be the one to go off in order to win. That time, though, they had a Scion in the top lane, a Rek'Sai in the jungle. Not really many threats outside of the Sivir, whereas now they still have the good protection, but they have better team fight initiation for the hyper carry, and they have a better hyper carry for one with the Jinx.
And she is ahead. Highest CS in the game, most kills in the game. Nian is well positioned to win his team the game with their help. And as Fusion sit 3k up, they've got complete ward control over Baron after they kill that ward. Now they've got control over Baron. But they're just playing the brush right now. A patient game for Fusion. They've seen so many bad Baron calls that they are maybe willing to just wait a little bit longer on this one. Teleport is up now in only a minute for Chunky Fresh. Might be all they're waiting for here. Dragon's up in 43 seconds. As long as they don't let the team counter Baron, these guys can go for Dragon 3. Nian takes down one more wave. Bot lane is getting pretty big here. Once again, Gamsu has teleport, and Chunky Fresh still doesn't just yet. Someone's got to go grab that farm. Looks like that will be Nian on Jinx to do so. Actually sending both Chunky and Nian down there. Very strange attribution here of resources.
Yeah.
Nian does have Last Whisper here, so once again I don't want to say greedy because it's actually a smart build, but a squishy build, high damage build.
Right, which is trying to maximize the advantages his team comp has built in for him. He has the shields and the move speed and the black shield in order to have him do maximum DPS. He also wants to make sure that he has the freedom to kill who he wants to kill. There's a decent amount of armor being built up on the people he's going to be targeting. A Zingy with Warden's Mail, Zona's Hourglass on Shifter. It is a decent time for a Last Whisper with 120 armor on Gragas and 108 on Cassidy.
He's looking at between 70 and 120 for his major targets. And actually, even if no one builds armor, Whisper is still actually more damage per gold than Bloodthirster. So, you know, not wrong at all. Even if no one was building items like this, Nian going to feel happy. Ward control goes through. Fusion can take the Scuttler as well. Dragon is alive. They've got to be careful that Azingi doesn't make something crazy happen. The chance to one-shot Jinx always exists. Good smite by Azingi. It may or may not come back up in time. Black Shield used. He cannot barrel back Nian. Great Black Shield, but now it's down. Nintendo forced to run away from this one. Lulu ult burned, but a lot of rocket damage coming through. Kiwi Kid, a double kill from the Mega Death Rocket, and now Cora JJ about to be dead. Skin of his teeth, and now Nian coming through, chasing one more. Flashes, looks for the Quadra. Shifter can't get hit, and he gets away. Jumps over the wall. Fusion can do whatever they want.
There are a lot of crits coming through from Yen in that fight, but mainly it's the fact that he was buffed up by Lulu and had finished those 3 critical damage-dealing items. They could not close on him properly. The Black Shield came in incredibly key to stop Zingy from fighting them off, and Fusion takes complete control of this game.
Beautiful peeling by them. The 3 kills turn into a Baron attempt now. Nintendo maybe needs some help tanking. Hecarim is actually soloing Dragon right now, so a bit of a greedy choice here by the Fusion lineup, but looks like no one's going to stop them. There's the Baron pickup. Nintendo gonna let that one get hit by Nian. More gold to Nian. Why not? Let him last hit Baron 2. Dragon are gonna go down 1,500 health. Chunky Fresh has Smite. Every objective now grabbed here. Dragon number 3. Baron picked up. Huge lead for Fusion.
I think we're on track for a Game 5, Freak. Let's take another look at this fight, though. Azingi does secure this. He's hoping to do Body Slam Flash, but Trance sniffs it out so well by getting the Black Shield on Nian. No chance to knock him back with the missile. And then honestly, Kiwi Kid thought he was doing his own heal fight, but he was just starting the reset party right there. Nian is able to get excited really easily. They save the Hecarim ult for the re-engage, and Shifter has to burn his flash to prevent the Quadra.
All right, 6-kill lead, 6,000 gold as well. Fusion looking great here, rallying around Nian in Game 4. That Jinx working out pretty nicely. Deathcap and Void Staff done for Huhi, so not a Ludens, but still a damage-focused build enough here. Shifter starting his next item might be Void Staff. But so far, the backline has not been reached. The peel for Nian has been great, and his damage output is not letting him down. Bloodthirster is next on the table for this Jinx player. And he's just getting all the farm here. Still highest CS in the game. He's been funneled all of it.
Going back to Champion Select as well, again with the Ziggs ban against Shifter. So this entire series, Fusion has been running some variation of a whole bunch of balled up dudes trying to win team fights.
Yep.
And when Ziggs was on Dignitas' side, that was getting crushed.
Yeah.
But as soon as they ban away Ziggs, Shifter is going to these assassin-type players. Ahri and Cassidy are both very assassin-heavy playstyles, and they're not able to break up the shielding group team-fighting team of Fusion. I wonder if he actually goes to a team fighter for the next game, because this one is over, Freak.
This one's looking at 30 minutes in, and they're already knocking down at the base. Team Fusion have killed the support by just having Nian attack him 3 times, and there's the inhibitor turret as well. Shields on Nian. He is very much safe right here. Rock, there we go, minigun for him. Inhibitor goes down 30 minutes in. Gamsu just chilling in the bot lane, knows he's going to kill some minions, nothing else. Mid lane under fire as well. It's going to be 2 inhibitors killed in the span of 30 seconds as Fusion just crush the entire base down. What's left for them?
The Nexus.
Yeah, I
got it. I know the answer to this one. Yeah, Fusion, now they're going to be going off running for Gamsu. He's going to have to teleport out of there if he wants to get out alive, which he does. Allowing Fusion to just use their Baron-empowered recall, buy all the goodies, and then push inhibitor number 3. Fusion, total control in this game, taking that lead. It's because they've been funneling the carries onto the, funneling the gold onto the carries that they have been so successful here. Look at this, speed them up with picks. 1, 2, zap.
Bam.
What do you call that, 2.5 shot? Or...
I mean,
or 3 shot, because it was 2 shots in a spell.
Yeah, I mean, he shot him with the champagne bottle. It's good enough. Counts. You ever have a cork hit you? Hurts. I mean, a cork with, like, 4 swords and a crossbow attached? Like, that's going to hurt a lot. And
now they just need to push inhibitor number 3. Chunky Fresh, full tank Hecarim. All they need, because all their damage is on Yen. It does kind of create a single point of failure, but at least that's reinforced multiple times with Black Shield and a Deathcap Void Staff Athene's Lulu.
Nian's essentially behind a bank vault here. Just shields everywhere, runs fast, escapes robbers nicely. Dignitas need a really well-executed heist if they want to knock him down here.
No Baron minions, though, means they have to wait for the super minions to push into the base and some base defenders of Team Dignitas to leave.
Yeah, but that's only 30 seconds away. Mid lane about to push in. Top lane actually double stacked right now, and it's on its way in towards the base.
The only thing that Fusion needs to do properly this fight is have Trance, Black Shield, Nian when Azingi tries to initiate. If they do that, I think they win the fight, as long as Nian doesn't get into a compromising position.
Well, so far, so good. Top lane wave now. Going to be one last stack of minions. But they're going for it right now. They're just going to crush this turret as fast as they possibly can. Sivir was still up at the top side, but the wave clear is just enough to keep Fusion at the back. Sivir roams back in. Now the wave has reached that Nexus turret.
They're not even waiting for
one more time.
They're just doing damage as soon as Sivir leaves. So this is a really nice take there by Fusion now that the minion wave has arrived.
And they're going to go for this one. Nian has the shield. There's the point blank to stop as Zingy the turret finally drops. Into the back lane goes Gamsu, ults back in, tries to flash away, but turrets are already falling. One of the next turrets died as well, and now Shifter and Azingi will get picked up. Looks like more kills for Nian. Another double kill on this one. Flashes in, picks up Gamsu, goes for Core Chain. Oh! That's a Quadra. He's going to go for Kiwi Kid. Can you steal the pentakill? Do it, Nintendo. I believe in you. Steal it. Let's go. Oh, he does it!
He actually stole it!
Nintendo with the pentakill steal. Congratulations! That's the Nexus going down. Game 5 is upon us. Fusion are 1 game away from joining the North American LCS.
Pentas are earned, not given, says Nintendo at the end of this game to his AD carry Nian.
Just laughing about it. He's like, what are you doing, man?
It was a penta, come on. Oh man, so 15 kills to 3. Pretty much a total turnaround from game 1 in this series, where Team Dignitas won in a similar fashion. And this series has switched completely around, as they so often do during these best-of-5s.
Oh, man.
Sometimes hinging on one major adjustment. I think the major adjustment we've seen this series was the Ziggs ban.
Yeah.
Against Shifter, pushing him onto Assassin, switching the team fight towards Fusion's favor. And then the second big adjustment was either lane swapping or picking stronger 2v2 lanes, because we know that Fusion is a team that needs Yen to carry, and in order for him to be in a position to carry, he has to not fall behind. So team fighting, Yen, now we're in Game 5.
Suddenly here we are, and it's funny because every single game has gotten better and better for Fusion. Game 1, okay, it was longer than Game 2, but was pretty one-sided, I gotta say. Game 2 was close for so long, and then one make-or-break team fight turned the game in Dignitas' favor. Game 3, really close, back and forth. Finally, Fusion wins in like 50 minutes. Game 4, stomped. They win the lane swap, they get a whole bunch of kills, great early game plays, and an 11-0 Jinx just kind of tends to end the games for you pretty quickly like this. So, I mean, as far as momentum goes, Fusion is riding a very fast wave.
Yeah. They got to worry about the rift growing between Yen and Nintendo now that he stole his Penta at the end of the game. That's going to ruin them, and they're no longer in
lose
the
faith
LCS.
in your jungler. He steals my kills. You know what? Don't even gank my lane anymore. I'll do it myself.
Yeah, 11-0-2 on that Jinx, as you said. A lot of kill participation across the board, but it's because that is the strategy that Fusion has tried to run in almost all 4 of their games. The first time they were kind of like World of Tanks, they got broken in half, like a really terrible draft. Their drafting has steadily improved as this series has progressed, as well as their results. But the gist of it is grouping up very closely together and winning team fights. So therefore, Dignitas needs to find a way of breaking that ball.
I think they have a chance next game. They finally swap sides back, and, well, guess what? You can first pick Sejuani, you can first pick Ziggs. One of these bans has to drop, and suddenly a lot of these champions that Fusion cares about can go back to Dignitas. We'll see if that happens here in Game 5, but for now, going to throw it over to our experts at the analyst desk for a breakdown of that series-tying win.
Thank you, Freak. Tied up the series. Here it is, boys. We go into Game 5, possible reverse sweep. Fusion, as they mentioned, have these 2 games of the same bans, Annie, Kennen, Ziggs. However, they are switching sides, and that's, as Freak mentioned, kind of where I guess we'll find out whether or not their pick ban strategy will unravel, because they're putting a lot of priority here on getting Kiwi Kid off of the Annie and the Kennen and keeping Shifter off of that high AoE burst damage from Ziggs.
Yeah, it's actually been a really strange kind of development, because the first game we saw Fusion was banning Rumble. Now Dignitas are banning Rumble, because it's just after that champion gets let through and the series develops, you see who's actually good on what champions. So Fusion are like, okay, we don't need to ban Gragas ever. Zingy, we're not that scared of it. Then Dignitas is like, okay, we can leave Gragas up for something else because they're going to play Sejuani. Now they really don't get the chance to play Sejuani again on Fusion's side, so their team fighting might go a little down in this next game, because they might give it up first priority, first pick. And now Sivir is kind of fallen by the wayside in favor of team fighters like Jinx for Nien. And I think this is really big for Fusion, because they'll be able to counterpick one of their lanes, and I think it'll probably be, like, it could be AD carry, but I think it's probably going to be that mid lane matchup.
All right, but you mentioned the Jinx, and I want to kind of jump on that, because we see the lane swap come through this game, and it paid off enormously this time around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that lane swap was really, I mean, they need to do that. Their lane wasn't that great early, and once Jinx got rolling, she just rolls over the game, and Fusion played that lane swap well, and they got ahead. They also had Hecarim bottom, and was able to do a 1v1 against the Sivir, so Hecarim was ahead. Their AD carry, just farms, is fine. And that's just, Hecarim being ahead is also really good. He got 2 kills early as well, and allowed him to snowball the game for the Jinx, and gave Jinx enough kills to help snowball the rest of the game.
Yeah, and it never really became this type of situation, because they went to Smite top lane, and he got Cinder Hulk and challenging Smite, so he was going to be able to challenge Core JJ at all parts in the game. With the 500 range Sivir, he's going to be constantly kiting backwards versus the Hecarim, and then Jinx is just taking pot shots at the entire team. So the way that Fusion's playing these team fights around Nien, this is the Fusion that I thought we were going to see from like Game 1. This is their strength. This is how they like to play off of lane swaps. So this is going to throw a big wrench into Dignitas' plans, and they're going to have to react here.
Yeah, even beyond the lane swap itself, we saw them literally feeding kills to Nien, right?
Yep.
Hecarim had the opportunity to pick up kills, and
Except
they
for that
found
last one.
Yeah, except for that last one where Nintendo decided to scumbag that one away from him. But, you know, even on Hecarim, where that gold would be put to good use, right? Even like moving through the early and mid-game, Hecarim, such a powerful champion with that challenging smite, would have been, you know, fine 1v1 against anyone. They're still deciding to give it to Nian, which just kind of shows you the strategy of that team, which is trying to get him ahead.
He hit the shot caller. If you're ahead, it's much easier to shot call and call out your position and how you want to play the team fight, especially as a kind of unorthodox 80 carry shot caller. So the faster he gets into the mid-late game and can knock down turrets effectively, the faster Fusion comes online as a team. All
right, but we've also, what we saw there was Hecarim, Jinx getting ahead. So that's 2-1 lanes for Fusion. I mean, that's huge, right? On the flip side, Dignitas, Shifter got that early kill, the first blood, onto Kassadin. And we had talked about Kassadin earlier today, whether or not we were going to see him. He did come out. Unfortunately, wasn't enough to carry the team. And that has to bring into question Dignitas' strategy going into this final game here, whether or not they should be focusing that mid lane or going back to focusing that bottom lane. They found a lot of success when they can get Cord JJ and Kiwi Kid into the 2v2 and actually, you know, utilize them to get their kills. But even if they can't find the 2v2 here, can they get the gold onto them quickly? Can they push turrets down and then rotate earlier in the game?
What I expect to see in this game is similar to game 1, where, I mean, a huge part of picks and bans is what side you're on. And when you're blue side, you're open to a ton of bans. You get first pick priority, so if you're scared of a champion, you just pick it. But on red side, you're scared of a champion, get to ban it. And that's the problem right now. They're banning 2 champions just on support. You can't afford to do that when you're on purple side. If you do, you're going to leave at least a Hecarim. If not, then they're like a Rumble or like Sejuani. And all these champions are huge priorities for teams. And I'm really interested to see how Fusion is going to take this. Because in the first game, they gave up too many champions. They counterpicked poorly, and they lost the games in laning phase. And it can easily happen again if they pick poorly again.
Yeah, we saw the Sejuani in Nintendo's hands working out much better this time around. Even though they did have the win prior, I feel just more of the ults were connecting. He seemed to kind of fall into that play a bit more. But again, as you mentioned, moving on to red side here, might not have the opportunity to play that champion again. As we've seen in game 1, they had to ban it out themselves, right? And then Azingi goes and picks up the Gragas. So is this the kind of scenario where we see them leave up the Sejuani and take the Gragas in response so they at least get something else in the jungle?
I think so, because if they, like right now, Fusion are showing they're good at team fights. Get Nintendo on a team fighting jungler. You don't want them on Rek'Sai, you don't want them on Nidalee, you want them on either Gragas or Sejuani, so you leave both them up so you guarantee yourself at least one of them. That would be my opinion on it.
All right. I do want to jump into our replay from this game. We're going to the Dragon River. It's where Jinx picks up her triple kill. We're going to pull that up on your screens right now, and especially, I'm actually going to have you walk us through this one if you don't mind.
Oh boy. All right, so in this setup, the game is very even right here, and because Fusion already started Dragon, they're actually not in the best of positions, but let's just watch what happens and see how Fusion actually plays out this fight. So Azingi goes in, so a really, really good Black Shield from Trance, and allows Nian to not get knocked back, and Azingi couldn't really get it all on him either. Nintendo gets a good ultimate, Cordy actually shields it, but it's fine, and they're kiting back. Nian gets some good crits here. Kiwi gets a good ultimate, but he gets binded, and he's getting crit the whole time. Nian gets a really good double kill, and with his ultimate, and he keeps chasing. Really good ult from Hecarim as well. Follows the Sivir through her flash, and Nian tries to go for the penta here, but it's a little too late, and doesn't get the penta.
Man, he crit 5 out of 7 shots there.
Yeah.
That was crazy, and they were AoE rockets too. That was beastly.
Rolling a little high on the RNG there with the crits, but again, that showcases the Sejuani with the Jinx layered on top of it, and it nullified any of Shifter's presence in that fight. Shifter Rift walks in, gets immediately stunned up, and has to Rift walk out. So no damage was actually coming out of that Kassadin, who they are relying on to get to the back line and kill that Jinx. So, you know, again, if we're putting it in the scope of what's going to happen next game, I love the Kassadin pick as well. I love the Kassadin as a champion, but I feel like they need to be cognizant then of what they're picking it into and whether or not he'll actually be able to be effective going into that backline.
Yeah, it would have been so hard either way. Because of the fact that it was a Lulu, he's going to whimsy him. He's going to actually give shields to whoever his target is. So the wild growth, if he did ever reach Nian, would have been a big problem, and he would have had to shred through that as well. So he would have been even be further ahead as Kassadin to be a big impact in this game.
one thing I expect to see next game is definitely the Ziggs ban. Even though, you know, you can't afford too many target bans, Ziggs was a champion that Shifter played in the first 2 games really, really well. And once that champion was banned, Fusion's doing a lot better. So I expect to see that ban. Probably an anti-ban as well. And I'm curious to see what the Dirt ban is going to be. And this is pretty expected bans. And if Shifter's on a non-Ziggs, can he still have pressure? And we're not seeing that in the last 2 games. I want to see some pressure this game.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's like side wave clear too, because they were really struggling on Fusion to actually deal with side waves.
Well, you both called it to be a close series either way here, and yes, we are going into Game 5, so cue up Silver Scrapes, and when we return, we'll see who will be playing in the North American LCS Summer Split, Team Dignitas or Team Fusion. Stay with us.
We got this, guys. Just focus, focus, focus.
Yeah.
Play smart, play calm, respect vision.
Do very much, and it re-engages. Popsicle lands on a shift, and there's the knock in from Lulu. It's going to be blue up taken away, but Zingy might have to just walk out of this one. I'm ulting them.
I ulting you. I ulting you.
I'm exhausting.
Cast it.
Coming. Nice. We can go. Siver. We got Siver.
Fusion are 1 game away from joining the North American LCS.